Hey guys, it's another Saturday evening. It's the last for November at believe it or not, next month it's the final penultimate. Sorry, it's the final month of the year. Penultimate pala November. So penultimate itong November and then final month December. So imagine we've been through 2020. I wouldn't say like in an instant, pero we made it. Now we have 2021 ahead at things are starting to look up and that's always a good thing. When we started this year, we were surprised with what happened, diba? Early in the year, para March pa lang, lockdown na, daming plans na cancel, there was a lot of uncertainty, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself when I say that we're starting to see light at the end of the tunnel kasi syempre malayo-layo pa yung aabutin natin. Pero at the same time, we can see that recent developments have been a lot more positive than what we can actually parang wish for the past several months, diba? Like with all the developments in the vaccine, the numbers going down, people getting used to the new norm, and at the same time, yung economy natin is starting to recover. And along with that, our our events, our races are starting to pick up. Ironman Philippines just announced a new date. Meron tayong new normal triathlons such as the yung turbo sprint that actually is supposed to be next week, but it got rescheduled to the end of January because of a few, parang ironing out some permits and all. Our friends at Go Clark have their DIY time trials for cycling. I think they also have a duathlon that's I guess different in the sense that hindi na mass start ngayon, so staggered yung starts, which is actually very intelligent, very logical kasi you want to avoid people I guess congregating in a single area or a single time. So if you spread them out and it's all out in the open, then that actually solves a huge part of the problem. So we just need to iron things out, like where to stay, whether you're gonna go on a day trip or to eat, etc. So all these things, again, recently have been a bit more normal in the sense that even restaurants are starting to pick up in terms of foot traffic, etc. But at the same time, again, I want to emphasize that we should all important, very very important. We should all still practice social distancing, wearing masks, and of course, avoiding going out as much as we can. That being said, what's the state of racing next year? Well, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. Of course, do our part para mangyari yung races na yan, diba? Now, for a lot of us triathletes or runners, cyclists, etc., we've probably been doing the same thing over and over again for the past year. Now, if you're starting to get tired or get burnt out with what you're doing, maybe you could consider another sport, which is something that actually I haven't done, but I do have a lot of friends, athletes, clients that enjoy the sport a lot, and I have mad respect for them. Even my brother, who is based in the States, he's actually a very competitive OCR athlete. Not a lot of people know that. I've been inviting him to join races here locally. FYI, medyo malaki age gap namin. So he's around 17 years older than me. Pero, he probably a lot stronger and a lot fitter than I am for the most part. But yun nga, parang going back, like OCR training, OCR obstacle course racing, what's it all about? How do you even get started? So I guess I don't have the answers right now. That's why I'm bringing in a friend of mine. He's also a client of mine, one of the people I coach. And of course, he's also a coach kasi. So he also coaches a lot of the clients that I do have. So let me bring into the stream si Coach Marc Celis, who is also part of Obstacle Central. And yun, so Coach Marc, nice to see you again. It's been a while. And
Nice
I hope
to
all
virtually meet you again.
Yeah, I hope all is well there. Alam kong marami kang ginagawa. You recently also did some volunteer work because
Yeah,
of the
we did.
recent, calamities, diba? So, yun, kamusta? Maybe you could give us a little insight of what you've been doing lately.
Yeah, actually, just this morning we went to La Mesa for a trail run with the Calabaos, which is one of my groups, my Spartan SGX group here in the Philippines. So medyo ano pa, medyo pagod pa tayo ngayon, pero kaya pa.
Recovering pa.
Yeah. Other than that, as you said, we've been busy also for the past weeks, gathering help and bringing help to the places that were in calamity. Yung sa Rizal, we've gone to the Dumagat tribe, sa Wawa, and also sa Isabela and Cagayan. So talagang na gamit namin yung training namin sa OCR, yung pagbubuhat, yung pagtakbo sa mga bundok-bundok because a lot of the places we visited talagang hindi naaabot ng tulong dahil malayo masyado. So, yun yung mga inuna namin.
Yun nga rin sasabihin ko mukhang practical talaga ang OCR training kasi
Very functional.
Oo, kasi 'di ba parang normal sa inyo tumakbo sa trail, bumabad sa putik, 'di ba? Buhat ng kung ano-ano and that's actually one of the appealing things about OCR kasi I could say it's functional strength or functional fitness. We've thrown around that term, maybe a decade ago. Very, very uso yun yung, di ba? Fitness, functional strength, functional training. So what's it all about? I think this is the culmination of it in a lot of ways. Kasi pag kailangan mo siya gawin, di ba? When you're doing it right now, you're doing it as a race. Pero pag kailangan mo siya gawin, you're actually gonna appreciate all the little things that
Other
you've been
training, yeah.
doing. So,
You see everything in a different perspective once you join obstacle course event like Spartan Race or any other local events that we have here in the Philippines. Sabi nga nila, when we train here at Obstacle Central, pag may mga clients kami, inuturuan namin ng rope climbing or ng wall, ng how to overcome the wall. Ang lagi nilang sinasabi, pwede na silang mag-akyat bahay. So, yung mga ganong bagay. So, you see things differently.
not that we're encouraging it, no?
Pero pag nakalimutan mo yung susi, pwede.
Yun, Saka baka kung tipong marami kang na-shopping at kailangan mo, di ba, bitbitin papuntang kotse, yun, okay yun. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about how you got started into OCR. Or at least man lang kahit fitness in general.
Well, I actually, basically, I'm a product of Facebook ads. So, back in 27, I was at my lowest point. Lagi lang ako nag-gym, buhat. No, there's no point. Parang nag-gym lang ako for the sake of it. So, one time, siguro, I was not fully awake. Or let's say, I was not very sober nung mga time na yon. And then may lumabas na ad sa Facebook and I clicked it. Sabi ko, laging lumilitaw. I-register na ako. It was Spartan Race. So I registered for Spartan Race for the upcoming race noon by Feb 2018. So sabi ko, ito yung price. So yung pinaka mahirap, yun yung pinili ko agad. Since I was not fully awake at that time, nakalimutan ko na nag-register ako. So, it took parang 1 month before the actual race. Doon ko na-realize na, meron pala akong re-register na event. So, I took the courage and searched YouTube what Spartan Race is. Medyo nagulat ako kasi ang hirap pala. Good thing at that time, merong sports facility, obstacle sports facility sa Taguig, which is the now defunct obstacle course camp. Tapos, I've been going there for every day, a month before the race. And for my first race, luckily, I was able to do all the obstacles and I was able to finish it without any burpees, without any penalty. And from there on, sabi ko, ayoko na. Pero the next thing I knew, I kept nag-register ako sa susunod, and I kept on continuing Spartan race after that, and joined a lot of other obstacle local obstacle races also.
So, in a sense, no, parang kailangan mo minsan no,
Gulat lang talaga.
Oo,
Nagulat lang
like a
ako.
slap in the face para seryosohin mo yung isang bagay, di ba?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it, I'd say that's normal. I'd say that's a normal human reaction to things. Kasi we don't really know what to expect. The same way that, siguro ako, let me share, like when I got started in triathlon, kala ko, ang dali lang mag-bike. You know, bili akong bike. Hirap pala mag-start pag walang magtuturo sa'yo. So, luckily, back then, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, wala pa kasi masyadong coaches. Wala pang YouTube noon na magtuturo sa'yo about the little things. So, a lot of it basically boiled down to trial and error, di ba? Now, that's also the reason why I guess for me, I excelled as a coach, not, learning from my background as a teacher, as a professor before in sa college. Pero medyo malayo kasi teaching and coaching. Pero actually, iisa yan eh. Now, ikaw, di ba, you're also into the academe.
Yeah, so, I'm actually a deputy director at Don Bosco. So, ang area ko talaga is giving education to the marginalized youth of the Philippines. So, I've been everywhere in the Philippines. Talagang yung mga laylayan pinupuntahan namin, and we're bringing skills to the poor.
Yeah. Yun nga eh, naalala ko nung pumunta ka pa sa lab before, galing kang flight, parang nakapang-beach ka pa, di ba? Akala ko nga galing kang outing eh. Yung pala galing ka sa mga outreach. So, would you say like, for example, your background in the academy that also helped somehow leading you towards coaching? Kasi syempre for you to actually want to coach, you really want to help, you want to teach, di ba? So,
actually, yun nga, coaching was really, it was not something that I really planned. Parang nangyari na lang siya. It all started when I had a conference for Don Bosco in Malaysia. And then nagkataon, merong Spartan coaching na certification at that time. I was like, since I'm here, why not? Diba? So I went there, and then I learned so much kasi I was taught by Joe D.I. himself. And then from there, I fell in love during the race. I fell even more in love. And from nagtuloy-tuloy na siya. Sabi namin ng mga friends ko, why not include other people within our group and train more? And let's multiply what's happening. Because really, the Kalabaw, yung Spartan group namin, it really changed our lives. Not only physically, but also emotionally, mentally, socially. And it was a good outlet. Imagine 5 days at work, and then once a week meron kang ganung group na talagang tinutulungan ng isa't isa to excel. So it was, kumbaga, it multiplied in itself hanggang sa naging biggest group na kami sa buong Philippines. And someone needed to really lead it. So what we did is, I actually copied what I do at Don Bosco and turned it the same way sa Kalabaw. So me, as a head coach, I trained other coaches so that they can also train more coaches, and then we can reach more people.
Okay, so for a lot of the people who don't know what the Kalabaw, ano ba yung Kalabaw na pinagsasabi nito si Coach Mark, diba? So that's SGX Kalabaw, which is a training group for aspiring OCR athletes. No? Sabi mo once a week, pero diba parang 3 times a week kayo prior to the pandemic, no? You had one in the South, you had, of course, sa UP pag Sundays. How often do you guys usually meet pre-pandemic days?
Yeah, it went to a point na naging 5 times a week siya.
Talaga?
Mondays, every Monday we were every Mondays we were the South, every Tuesdays and Thursdays, we were at Decathlon. Tapos every Wednesdays, we were at BGC. Saturdays, 7 days a week pala. Saturday at Luneta, and Sunday, the biggest one, in UP. So we always do that. We invited you there before. You even
Yeah,
helped
a
with
couple of times I was able to drop by kasi alam mo naman malapit ako sa UP. Yung gising naman ng maaga, hindi naman kayo sobrang aga kasi we start at around
Yeah,
6.
yeah.
Um, so based on what I see, your routine is you start with things like mobility,
Mm-hmm.
then meron kayong specific like workout or goal for the day. Siyempre, pag nandun ako, yung focus is always on cardio. Now, so yun, siguro let's talk a little bit about the Calabaos, no? Yung mga, mamaya magpasok tayo ng isa ng mga products ng Calabaos sa stream.
Yeah.
Yun. So yung when you talk about the Calabaos, like you said, you're one of the largest groups. Tapos if you want to get started, let's say with, again, OCR, at least may mag-guide sa'yo na hindi lang ikaw, may nandyan sina Keisha, sina Chris, of course, sina Kitch. Now, the goal really is to generate a community.
Mm-hmm.
Diba? The nice thing about our sports, whether triathlon, running, OCR, diba? All these are, even if they're individual sports, they have a community behind it. And that's actually what motivates you to
That's
keep
right.
going, diba? So, first of all, how do you even join the group? May ano ba yan? May mga requirements or fees involved?
Well, for Calabao, for our Spartan group, which is Spartan SGX Calabao, we don't have any membership fees. So the only requirement is for you to come to a workout, be there. Once you're there, we'll be telling you yung rules and regulations about what we are as a group. And then, if you agree to those rules, then you're welcome. Ganun lang. It's as simple as going there and being present. And because really, when it comes to obstacle course racing, the first step really is to show up. So the moment you show up, that means talagang sigurado ka na you really want to change your life. So yun.
So now that there's this whole stay-at-home thing, bawal group workout, so how have you guys adjusted in terms of giving workouts or holding the community together?
During the first part of the pandemic, which was around, I think, March to May, we were holding online trainings every week. So every Sunday, yung Sunday UP morning namin, we went to Zoom and then eventually to Facebook Live. And then we invited even international athletes, elite athletes, to help lead yung mga trainings. And they are still available at YouTube and sa Facebook page namin if you want to watch them. They're there. So, but eventually when things loosened up and then nagkaroon na ng limit to 10, maximum of 10 per group, then we started training again. So, of course, we made sure that we were following IATF protocols. Even here at Obstacle Central, we really had to, it's a good thing that Obstacle Central is parang open air. So, we were granted with the IATF approval to operate. In fact, ngayon, 100% yung inallow sa amin, but we kept it at 50% because we just wanted to make sure. Yun. So, but, yeah.
Ano ba yung Obstacle Central na yan?
Yeah.
You can talk a little bit about it.
Obstacle Central is the home of Spartan SGX Calabao and many other OCR groups here in Quezon City. So it's an indoor obstacle facility, 600 square meters, where all of our facilities or obstacles are actually Spartan grade. Meaning, whatever you'll find in a Spartan race, ganun yung specs niya. So hindi siya malayo. So when you're at the race itself, alam mo na what you're going to tackle. Ayan.
So, where is it located? Diba dito yan sa may QC area?
Yeah, we're at Quezon City. We're in Viluna Extension, just beside Save More, and very near Maginhawa.
Okay, so at least pagkatapos mo mag-workout, alam mo na saan ka kakain. Diba? Marami kang option.
We're even partnered with a lot of, kasi when you say Spartan, hindi na mawawala na plant-based. Kasi even the president of Spartan Race is plant-based. So, we're partnered with a lot of restaurants here which are plant-based. So, you get discounts kung pupunta ka dito, tapos kakain ka sa Maginhawa.
Ayos. So, again, yung advantage yan is now we have an obstacle course facility in the northern area of Metro Manila. Kasi dati usually, di ba, yun nga, like sabi mo, sa Taguig pa, ganun, medyo malayo. Lalo na ngayon, you want to stay in the immediate vicinity of where you live for you to train. And now that you mentioned na at least open air siya, and I'm sure you guys again follow the protocols and procedures to keep things safe. It's a nice option to have. Unlike, not to put any other of the gyms down, pero yung concern kasi ng maraming tao when it comes to gyms is dahil usually air-conditioned or enclosed, mas may konting risk when in terms of spreading, especially if people don't wear masks. So, sa facility nyo, required pa rin naman ng masks?
Required ng mask, and we even sell sports mask here na talagang kasi we don't allow surgical mask when training. So that's also one thing. I mean, I'm sure you're aware when it comes to working out, talagang dapat you're using the proper equipment and proper mask. So some people kasi they work out with a surgical mask, and although that's good on a daily basis, but when you're working out, it becomes more difficult for you to breathe. Lalo na not only surgical mask but also yung mga cloth mask. When pagbasa na sila ng pawis, talagang it will make it difficult for you to breathe. So that's why we offer copper mask here and other alternatives.
So yung
when it comes to the IATF, we were what we do is every after training, talagang nagdi-disinfect kami with the use of our disinfecting machines, and the usual protocol when you go to the gym, you have to really, we don't accept walk-ins right now. You have to register in advance kasi as I said, kahit na 100% operational capacity na kami, we are maintaining our 50%. That means hanggang 15 lang yung ina-allow namin at a time. So we have 3 slots a day. That's 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 5 p.m.
Okay. So going back to your issue about the masks, tama nga yun. Especially when masks get wet, lalo hindi ka makakahinga. So again, one of the tips that I always give athletes is to make sure that if you can, try and wear a headband or something that will help control the drip of your sweat from your hair papunta sa mask mo, kasi it will help a lot in terms of soaking your masks with too much sweat, lalo hindi ka makakahinga. And again, tulad ng sinabi ko, the proper wearing of masks, of the type of mask, is very important. So when it comes to registering for, let's say, a slot in Obstacle Central, all they have to do is, connect sa Facebook?
You can connect to our Facebook or Instagram, and we will send you link namin for our registration. It's very easy. You just have to fill it up, and then we'll send you an email or a text if your schedule is confirmed. Otherwise, we'll let you know also kung it should be or you weren't able to make the cut.
So again, yun nga, parang all you have to do is look at this part. Diba? Parang, okay, so Obstacle Central, daling tandaan. Now, So yan, if you're a newbie and you want to get started, you want to see what this whole obstacle course racing thing is all about, all you have to do is visit Obstacle Central in the Maginhawa area sa may
in Quezon
V,
City. Yeah.
V mapa ba? Tama?
Viluna.
V Luna,
Viluna
sorry. V
Extension.
Luna. Okay. So um what if you're an intermediate athlete? So pag-usapan natin, ano ba yung pwede mo gawin if you want to kunwari, hindi ka na newbie, nasa intermediate ka na. Of course, you can still visit Obstacle Central to
Of
improve your
course.
skill. Pero what
Uh,
are the certain things that you can do to improve?
mm,
Diretso na tayo sa medyo mas serious sa topic, yung
yeah, of course.
about training.
First things first, for those intermediate and parang sabihin natin, regular obstacle course racers, if you go here sa Obstacle Central, you'll be able to see obstacles that will be launched on 2021. Not only here in the Philippines, but also abroad. We have the Helix and then the Box and then other obstacles upcoming na talagang I'm sure if you haven't raced in the US, you have not tried yet. And like what I said, the first thing that, yung fear of the unknown kasi, pag nag-OCR ka, yung hindi mo alam paano gagawin yung isang obstacle, that's what, yun yung mga mistakes na nagagawa natin. So, if you come here, we'll tell you not only yung mga tips and tricks on how to overcome these obstacles, but also what are the most efficient and what's the best technique for you. Kasi what may be good for one person might not be the best for the next one. So, may kanya-kanya tayong techniques that might be more appropriate for each one. Yun.
Okay, so yun nga, if you're an intermediate athlete, it's all about basically knowing or understanding how you can better do a particular obstacle. Kasi I guess a misconception that a lot of people have is that the obstacles pare-pareho or paulit-ulit. That's not always the case.
Yeah,
Kasi
every route is different. Yeah.
a lot of times very nabibilib nga ako sa creativity ng mga race organizer in terms of giving out the different kinds of obstacles that they do have. So
That's
ano
true.
ba yung siguro pinaka important na obstacle that you should conquer if you want to do well in obstacle racing?
Pinaka-importanting obstacle. Well, for me, because I've raced basically all distances and all types of race for Spartan race, I would say if you're a beginner, the most difficult part would be the rope climb. Kasi when you're a beginner and you'll be racing open, you can help each other. That's true. But when it comes to rope climb, kahit anong tulong ng mga kaibigan mo, kung hindi mo siya maaakyat, hindi talaga. So, that's one thing. And it's also, well, in any obstacle facility, the rope climb is actually the one that, yan yung pinaka maraming injury. Yung pinaka-injury prone na obstacle. Why? Because for some, it's easy to go up. And the problem is how you go down. And you have to go down really well, properly. Otherwise, you'll sprain your leg or worse, you'll burn your hand. Parang ganun. So, yeah.
So that may factor in dyan na konting fear of heights, no?
Yeah.
Kasi medyo mataas din siya. How high do you go sa rope climb?
The rope climb is around, the standard is 10 feet. Ay, wait, tama ba? Yeah, 10 feet. So, there's a fear of height, pero it's one thing na you'll be able to easily overcome when you're doing OCR because a lot of things are height related talaga. And sabi ko nga, obstacle course racing, it's very much sa equality. So whether you're a foreigner na 6'4" or you're a local na wala pang 5 foot, they treat you the same. So whatever obstacle they'll be doing, it's the same as yours. So there's no special treatment. So talagang yon. Height is really something na hindi mawawala when it comes to obstacle course racing.
Actually, pwede mga isipin, like when you talk about height, it can be an advantage. It can also be a slight disadvantage sometimes.
It is, yeah.
So
I know a lot of tall people na nahihirapan sa sa rings, sa multi-rings. Because once your foot touches the floor, that's already a penalty. So height can be a disadvantage also. As much as height, yung vertically challenged are disadvantage, being tall is also a disadvantage at some areas.
So kaya that's also the challenge for the race organizers to balance it out such that certain advantages are negated in other parts of the race, di ba?
Yeah.
Now, so kunyari ako, I'm of course a triathlete. I don't really use my upper body as much as other, kunyari, for example, gym goers, ganun. Kasi my focus is on of course, my legs, running, cycling. Upper body swim, of course, that's important. Pero iba pa rin kasi kayo use a lot of your grip. And grip isn't really used in swimming, di ba? Yung forearm strength, that's my main limiter as an athlete. And that's also the reason why I find it hard to do certain obstacles. Now, siguro, let's talk a little bit about that. So how common is that, and how do we resolve that particular problem?
It's good that you asked that, because that's a common misconception actually. That obstacle course racing is more on upper body and grip strength. Although it helps, as I said, each person's technique is not the same for the next one. So I'll give you an example when it comes to rope climb. For rope climb, some people, they don't use their legs. Talagang upper body lang yung ginagamit nila pag-akyat. And that's okay. But if you think about it, it's not as efficient as the one when you use your legs. Kasi pag napagod na yung upper body mo, then mahihirapan ka na for the next obstacles. So what we teach here at Obstacle Central, we really focus on your strengths, and then how can you use those strengths for you to be able to overcome these obstacles. Katulad ng sabi mo, you're more on the sa leg power or sa footworks. Then you can use that also with the rope climb. In fact, when you do the rope climb, there are several techniques na talagang upper body doesn't really do much. Mas leg power siya. So it goes the same with every other obstacles. Merong mga mas efficient ways to overcome it. Talagang nagde-depend per person.
Okay, so like what I mentioned, diba? I'm good sa legs, sa lower body strength, sa cardio, of course. Now, let's talk a little bit about if, for example, ako, I'm a runner, I'm a good runner. How big of an advantage is that in OCR?
Yeah. Well, if you asked me 2 years ago, I would say, dali lang yan, mabilis yan. But based on my experience, as a obstacle course racer, and then a lot of people who came from your discipline and running discipline went to OCR, masasabi ko na it's a good factor. Some people say kasi obstacle course racing is 80% running and 20% strength. I would probably say that a few years back also. Pero right now, I'll have to change. I changed my mind na. Parang ano na lang siya eh. Parang for me, it's 20% running, 20% strength, and 60% endurance and mental aptitude talaga. Why? Because when I was a beginner, I didn't have any running background. You coached me into running, and um, I was able to get past through a lot of runners during my first Spartan race. Naunahan ko sila, and the question is why? Probably because they were focused on running, that they missed a lot of obstacles. And as you know, when you miss an obstacle, you get 30 burpees. And 30 burpees is not that easy. And imagine if you fail 10 obstacles, that means you did 300 burpees. So, andun yung endurance again. And mental aptitude also na, should I just quit? Should I continue? And things like that. So, it's good for runners to go into OCR and experience something new. Yeah, that's it's really it's parang having a different feel on what running is. Pero as much as as much as an advantage in the OCR, it's just one part. Parang for me nga, sabi ko nga, it's just 20%. Kung dati sabi nila 80% running, no, I don't agree anymore. I think running is just 20%. It's more on mental aptitude and endurance. Kasi pwedeng mabilis ka tumakbo, pero mabilis ka ring humingal kung makailang burpees ka. So, yeah.
So yung goal really is to balance it, you know? Kasi when you talk about running, it's a part of the equation, and that should also, correct me if I'm wrong, that should also translate to something bigger in terms of being able to manage your efforts, di ba? Like, yung nangyayari kasi dyan, when you do an obstacle, takbo ka sa next obstacle, at dapat hindi ka parang hindi ka mapagod doon sa gap na yon. Kasi ang mangyayari, tulad ng sinabi mo nga, obstacle, tapos ang takbo, kung napagod ka pa lalo dahil tumakbo ka sa next obstacle, then your mental aptitude goes down, your ability to concentrate on the task at hand suffers, then it might cause you to
I know
mag-penalize ka. Tapos, so, nagiging downward spiral siya, di ba? Yun, I guess that's a common problem.
I know a lot of elite racers na mabilis tumakbo and malakas. Pero with just one fail, which is probably spear throw, that can cost their entire game. Kasi, sabi ko nga, one obstacle, 30 burpees. Spear is very fast. Di ba? Tapos, pag, if you fail that, hindi lang siya yung burpees eh. Yung mental, yung laban mo against yourself, sasabihin mo, they're way ahead of me. Parang ganon. So, parang, that's why mental strength talaga is something that we also teach when we teach OCR. Because you never know. Maybe the next obstacle, sila naman yung magkamali. Ikaw naman yung...
So, hindi pa tapos ang laban talaga until umabot ka sa dulo, di ba? Kasi the same way that when you get penalized for something, pwedeng mangyari rin yun sa competitors mo ahead. At, that's the reason why you shouldn't stop. Even in running, even in triathlon, a lot of times you get too obsessed about a particular goal. Hindi ko na-reach yung PR ko, hindi ko natalo yung, competitor ko na ganito. Pero at the end of the day, it's about you. It's about conquering whatever you set out to do, diba? Kaya that's the nice thing about our sport. Kahit hindi ka mag-podium, it's actually, hindi ka naman professional in the sense na hindi ka nag-podium, wala ka nang iuuwi. Kasi wala naman talaga tayong inuuwi kahit manalo tayo, diba? Except for trophies, I guess. Pero, yun nga, parang the reason why we do this is because we want to enjoy, we want to live racing, we want to experience a healthy lifestyle, and that's the nice thing about, again, what we do. Now, you mentioned elite racing. So how different is it for someone who's an intermediate middle of the pack to someone who's a competitive podium finisher, or even someone who's elite? So maybe you could share some insights about ano ba yung difference ng tatlong yan?
Okay. So, ako personally, I started running as an open racer. My first race was an open category. And then right after that, I jumped into elite. Medyo ano ko medyo ewan ko ba may something that naisip ko it's more challenging. Uh, and then last year, I jumped from elite to age group. Uh, the difference that I see from elite and age group, well, obviously sa open you can help each other. Sa elite talagang there are more stricter when it comes to the rules. There are cameras everywhere. So they count every burpee that you make and they make sure that you're not touching yung mga areas ng obstacle that are not supposed to be touched. But when it comes to age group, medyo mas maluwag sila, mas nagfo-focus na lang sila sa mga sa mga marshals rather than the cameras. So that's mainly the difference. Aside from that, when you're in the elite, lahat talaga kalaban mo. Whether someone who's 13 years old or 60 years old, kalaban mo yan. Sa age group, hindi mo alam sino kalaban mo kasi
Kalat-kalat kayo.
parang sabay-sabay kayong tatakbo pero hindi mo alam sino yung ka-age group mo. So, yeah. Hindi mo mape-pace yung sarili mo. Unlike sa elite na, okay, meron pang apat na nasa harap ko. Kailangan malagpasan ko yung dalawa para may sure na ako na podium. Something like that.
So yung if kunwari age grouper ako and I want to start racing elite, what types of sacrifices do I need to make or what strides do I need to do to be able to level up to that particular category?
Well, talagang siya, more on obstacle efficiency and of course running. When it comes to obstacle course racing kasi when it's not just running per se na parang tatakbo ka sa village is enough. You really have to devote a day in your week to run in the outdoors, sa trail. Make sure that you can run uphill and downhill. One thing that I noticed sa mga new racers or mga bagong lumilipat is that nagugulat sila na na parang ang tawag dito, when you're a runner kasi, di ba, you run. Alam mong flat yung tinatakbo mo. But when you're doing trail run, may mga bato, may mga puno-puno dyan and putek. And what most new people do is iniiwasan nila. So that's something for me na mas nakaka-injure and it takes more time. But when you're running elite na at a level, talagang tuloy-tuloy lang yung takbo. Inaapakan mo lang whatever yung maapakan mo. Hindi mo iniiwasan yung putik, yung mga bato and all that.
Para kang mountain goat.
Yeah.
Tumatakbo ka na. So I've experienced how different it is to actually do trail runs. Like meron kasi before yung I'm sure some of the triathletes know meron yung X-Tri, which is an off-road triathlon. It isn't that common. We have Xterra, but not a lot of people really race off-road for triathlon. It's not as popular as the main triathlon scene, which is of course road. Pero yung mananotice mo talaga is na may mga muscle pala akong masakit na hindi ko alam na may muscle pala ako doon. Tumatakbo ka sa trail, di ba? And I'm pretty sure that's what you experience and when you start running for the first time. If you're sedentary at start ka tumakbo, syempre maraming sasakit sa'yo kasi hindi sanay. And once you go into trail, it's another adaptation process that you need to take. Aside from, of course, the technique and the efficiency in terms of knowing where to step. Diba? Minsan ano yan when it comes to, when you're running fast and you're running on the trail, you don't really have that much time to think anymore. Talagang minsan recognition na lang siya na, this is what I should be doing, diba? Minsan pag nag-hesitate ka, doon ka pa madadapa, diba? So all those little things talagang, it really boils down to familiarity with what you need to do. Um, ako before, just to share, no, sobrang hirap pala tumakbo sa sand.
It
Ah,
is.
yun yung
Our
dun
beach.
talaga ako nagulat. Kasi yung finish na tong triathlon na to is on the beach. Sabi ko, sarap naman sa beach. Kasi water, parang sa tabi ng shore, kung saan ka magtatawid sa arco, di ba? Pero ang hirap pala. Nagsisprint ka na, hindi ka pa gumagalaw. So, I'm pretty sure
Oo,
all these
labot na yung
will
mga.
apply, especially pag maputik, di ba? Now, of course, you guys help athletes with that, with your group runs sa SGX Calabao. So, again, ano ba yung share ko na lang Instagram ng SGX Calabao. So, if you want to consider OCR racing and you want to find a particular group that can teach you the ropes,
Mhm.
quite literally, then SGX Calabao, that's a group that you can talk to, and all they need is your commitment. Pag
Yeah,
nag-commit ka that
just
you're
show
gonna
up.
work with them, show up, even siguro right now you have group workouts, pero back then kahit virtually, as long as you're there, you're committed, then you're
Yeah.
more than welcome, no. Now siguro, since we're wrapping up, we have around 15 minutes left for the live stream. Let's talk a little bit about the races that you can sign up for next year. So you sent me a list. So ito, meron tayong, well, these
Yeah.
aren't races, pero these are certifications for to be able to, ano ba
Yeah,
yan?
we have a certification for obstacle specialist here at Obstacle Central on December 12 and 13. So either you can choose whether the Saturday or the Sunday. So with this, we actually have a scholarship for PE teachers. So if there are PE teachers who are watching right now, you can just send us an email at obstaclecentral@gmail.com or message us at our Facebook, and then we'll process your scholarship. Because we really want a lot to reach more people when it comes to obstacle course racing, and well, teachers are number one talaga. And then on December 12th, the same day, Saturday, there's a ninja event happening at Pretty Huge Obstacles. It's sanctioned by POSF, or Pilipinas Obstacle Sports Federation. So limited slots only, and there are two waves, one for elite and one for age group. So I encourage you guys to try it. It's one of the many forms of obstacle course racing, but this time it's focused on obstacles and less on running. But of course, fastest time pa rin.
So yan yung yung ninja that's actually around ano ba, yung mga 100 meters, di ba? Na sunod-sunod na
Yeah,
obstacles.
sometimes.
So
I didn't get kung how many meters it is for this for the December 12, but definitely maikli lang siya. Wala siyang 500 meters. So yeah,
So
it's
of
only
course,
12 obstacles, I think.
sina Shell, sina Mick
Mhm.
Suarez, of course Shell Suarez and Mick Tejares, of course they're the gold medalists, di ba? And gold and silver medalists for the SEA Games when it comes to the ninja. So ano ba yung mga different types of OCR races? We have the ninja, we have, ano pa
We
ba?
have the ninja, we have the regular obstacle course racing or OCR, and then we have the parkour. Bago lang yan. Matagal na ang parkour, pero bago lang na nasama sa list of events for obstacle sports. And then we also have what we call the adventure racing, which is basically, if you're familiar with yung sa Amazon, uh, yung green ano. So it's very new, but it's not new. It's been out here for a while with Coach Tomby, and we're bringing it back. So in fact, we have one event lined up for Calabao, mga Calabao events also. Na adventure racing is one of the items that we'll be doing.
So
Ayan. We have a lineup of activities. For the first quarter, we'll be having our Obstacle Open Invitational here at Obstacle Central. We'll be inviting groups and schools and other organizations to join this. So, criteria lang, you should have not won uh, any place in any local OCR race, and you're not part of the national training pool and the national team for you to be able to join this. Ang focus talaga are for those who have been joining OCR or wants to join OCR, pero not on a competitive level. And then on quarter 2, we have our adventure racing for the Luzon Loop. It's actually a benefit race for the participants of the 11th Gay Games in Hong Kong on 2022. And we're doing this because we want to send more athletes in Hong Kong to participate on this event. And then, of course, on quarter 3, we're involved with the Quezon City Hall for the Quezon City Pride OCR Games that we'll be doing. And fourth quarter, again, beneficiary are the athletes for the Hong Kong Gay Games. And then quarter 4 is the Pink Camel Race, which is a outdoor racing na may obstacles, which is 50 kilometers.
Okay, so based on, of course, what I know and what we've been sharing, no, the obstacle racing it's like a whole set of sports in itself. Kasi meron kang sobrang ikse, meron ka rin sobrang haba. Let's talk about the distances. Ano ba yung distances ng Spartan? Meron tayong sprint, super sprint,
5 kilometer. And then we have the super, which is 10 kilometer. And then we have the beast, which is 21 kilometer. And then after beast, we have the ultra, which is 50 kilometers.
So actually don't take those distances as face value kasi ang 10K sa OCR, it feels a lot longer.
Yeah,
parang nag 21K halos.
I think my first race was super. It's supposed to be nung mga panahon na yon. I think 12 kilometers pero umabot siya ng 18 kilometers.
Saka hindi lang yun, yung the time that it takes you to cover that, it's a lot longer than if you were to just run particular distance. So meron na tayong tinatawag na trifecta sa Spartan. Yeah. Maybe you could share something about that.
Here's an example of a trifecta. I have it with me. So for each medal kasi that you get from Spartan race, you get a wedge. And for you to complete set of trifecta, you need to finish a set of event. So for example, there are actually 3 kinds of trifecta. This is the first type of trifecta, which is the running. You have the sprint, super, or beast. Or you can also replace yung sprint with the stadium, which is a 5-kilometer stadium race. And then you can replace the ultra, which is 21 kilometer, with the the beast with the ultra, which is a 50 kilometer. That's just one of the 3 trifectas that the Spartan race have. There are 2 other trifecta, which is the training trifecta, which you can get here at Obstacle Central. We're offering Spartan SGX training and then Spartan Obstacle Specialist, as well as Spartan Strong. So for you to be able to get that training trifecta, you have to finish all 3 and volunteer at a Spartan race. And then we have the endurance events. For the endurance event, these are the Hurricane Heat. So I myself am a Cryptea for the Hurricane Heat. That means I'm the one who manages and leads yung endurance event. It's more like a boot camp, military boot camp style na endurance event wherein there's a 4-hour, a 12-hour, and a 24-hour. So for you to be able to get that endurance trifecta or storm trifecta, you have to finish all 3. So Philippines has been part of the top 3 endurance champions for the past 3 years. Back in 2018, I joined the first H3X, which is a world competition for endurance, and we placed first. Tapos in 2019, we placed second, and just this year, sa Batangas, we placed third.
Oh, yun. So, again, choose your poison na lang kung ano ba yung gusto mo. maikse na sobrang high intensity, of course, or yung mahaba na talagang umabot ng 24 hours, di ba?
There should be a
Na,
warning actually. Dapat may warning sa baba ng medal. Can
mm.
be addictive. Because it is very addictive.
So, siguro ano rin, no? One thing I guess you should emphasize rin is na one is not better than the other in terms of distance. Just because one is longer, it's not gonna be something that's superior to another distance. Kasi I know how difficult the ninja is and how well-trained, well-skilled, and talented you should be. And at the same time, iba naman yung requirements ng longer events. So it's all about, again, choosing what challenge you want to face or want to conquer. Now, siguro, before we wrap things up, kasi I'm sure a lot of people are definitely interested with OCR and want, now they know how to get started. Maybe you could leave with some parting words to share with all our viewers, those who are watching now and would be watching the recorded stream of this. So I'll leave the floor to you and ikaw na bahala to give your take on this.
All right.
Sorry, wait lang. All right. Yan.
So, like what we always say at POSF and Spartan SGX Calabao, it's our mantra actually. We want to build better humans. And the first step to become a better human is to actually commit to it. So, that's the first thing that you have to do is to get off your couch and join the nearest training sa'yo. So, Spartan SGX Calabao is just one of the many OCR groups that we have here in the Philippines. We have groups everywhere. We have the UVM in Visayas and Mindanao. We have in Subic. We have trainings everywhere. All you have to do is really get in touch with these groups, and I'm pretty sure this community will. The OCR community is in a very strange way. It's a small community, but it's a very big community. It's small, tight, neat community, but at the same time, it's everywhere. You can go everywhere. You can race in Thailand, you can race in Singapore, and you can race in Malaysia. And when they learn that you're a Spartan racer from the Philippines, magugulat ka. Parang extension siya ng training ng bahay ninyo. Because really, Spartan race and OCR is more than just a sport. It's a lifestyle. And I guess my parting words would be, see you in the finish line.
All right. So thanks for that, Coach Mark. Now, I know you guys are really excited for what's going to happen in 2021. And of course, we're here to support you. Ako personally, I'm more than excited to rejoin the SGX Calabao sessions pag Sundays dyan sa UP. And we're, again, looking forward to when that will happen. So again, thanks, Coach Mark.
Thank you.
All right, so that wraps up the live stream for tonight. Like what I said, this is the last for this month, and actually next week will be the last for this year. So after next week, we're gonna take a short break. Holiday season, we're gonna, I guess, reassess and plan for next year because we do want to offer you very interesting and very engaging topics that I know everyone will benefit from. Medyo magbabago na kasing theme ng konti. We're now gonna focus more towards the importance of training, racing, etc. Pero pag-usapan pa rin natin yung mga supplementary topics that will help you become a better, stronger, and smarter athlete. Kaya tulad nga ng sabi ni Coach Mark, malaking factor ang mental aptitude. Even in triathlon, kasi, there are a lot of times you want to quit, you want to slow down, etc. And no matter how much you train, how hard you train, if you don't get that mental aspect down, then medyo mahihirapan tayo ma-reach yung goals natin. No? But of course, on my end naman as a coach, we should all, I guess, live this as a lifestyle. Enjoy what we're doing right now. Focus, like what my previous guest said, like si Lita Honera, is focus on the process and the results will follow. So right now, all we need to do is keep training, keep going, focus on why we're doing this, and do this as a lifestyle. Eventually, when races come back, you'll be surprised na parang hindi ka nawala at things will be back to normal soon enough. All right. So for next week, our final topic will be about giving back to not just the community but to people who need our help. So we have another coach as our guest, um, Coach Al Gonzalez. He visited our live stream maybe a week or two ago to share his charity work, how he's able to help people in terms of giving donations, bringing these donations to those who need, etc. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that kasi it's the season for giving, diba? Christmas, and maybe we want to end on that note for this year's live stream series. Okay, so watch out for that. We're gonna talk again about charity, giving back, or giving to those in need, especially during this very, very trying time. All right. So again, thanks for spending your Saturday evening with us. This is again me, Coach Don V. If you haven't, please do like our page. It's Flying Don V Coaching on Facebook. We also have a live stream, Facebook channel. We also have a YouTube channel, which is of course in YouTube. So just search for Flying Don V Coaching. And again, if you need anything, if you have any comments or suggestions for the next topics, just send me a message or you can post in the comment section below. Right, guys? Stay safe, stay happy, and of course, advance Merry Christmas to everyone. Right, guys? See you guys soon.